Hey, what's up, guys? Tim with Go Cards. Today we're here with my friend Matthew Mills's 7th place Cardiff regional deck profile. As you can see on the screen, he played Trap Eldlich. The reason we're doing this over DB is because I wasn't able to attend this weekend. But yeah, so this regional was pretty big. It was 8 rounds. It was 147 players. So yeah, congrats to Mills for finally breaking back into the top 8. I think he's finished 10th 3 times in a row this season. So it's good that he's back into the top 8, back on, getting in there. For those of you guys who don't know Matthew Mills, you might know him by his DN/DB name, the British Hero. Very well known on DB, or DN from back in the day. But yeah, so we'll go through the deck profile. As you can see on the screen, it's Trap Eldlich, but we'll just go over the cards. And then he very kindly sent me a text document with his matchups and stuff like that. So we'll go over that closer to the end. But yeah, so 2 Golden Lord, 2 Heavenly Prison, 1 Black Awakening, 3 Extrav, 3 Conk, 2 Barrier, 3 Punishment, 3 Sanguine, 3 Gozen, 2 Haquero, 2 IDP, 3 Skill Drain, 3 Solemn Strike, 3 Tikaboo, 3 Torrential, 2 Trap Trick. So yeah, as you can see, 40 card solid, very heavily on the Trap Eldritch, no Cybus, no Brave, which I think is fine. Being able to play what is this, 9 real floodgates and then double barrier as well is very impressive. Torrential and Punishment are really well placed traps, I think, in the moment as well. I just like the Eldritch deck a lot in general. I think it's the best trap deck. Yeah, anyway, onto the side. 3 Lava Golem, 3 Sphere Mode, 3 Super Poly, 3 Rivalry, 3 Judgment. Yeah, Judgment's good. You just gotta have this somewhere in the list to stop reboot and stuff. And I like these cards in this deck because this deck does not ever normal summon, so being able to take advantage of these board breaker cards, which normally you wouldn't be able to take advantage of, is pretty cool. Super Poly, I'm not really sure how good this is this format. I know it beats the Cyflock, but and then Rivalry is just a very powerful flood again. Onto this Extract. The Extract is, you'll probably assume or have seen already, is mostly punishment slash things to do with Golden Lord, basically. Or Super Poly target, sorry, yeah. So 1 Entis, 1 Eldritch Magel, and this card's cool because it's a Super Poly target in the mirror. But also it's a 3800 attack monster you can send off Punishment, so it basically makes it so Punishment will clear any monster, really. I think pretty much any monster in the format. I can't think of any things in the format that get around being over 3800. Not off the top of my head, I guess access code after it resolves, but apart from that, yeah, this is huge, so basically means Punishment can hit anything. 1 more Dragon Wall and Dragon's Palette, also Super Poly targets. Entus is possibly a Super Poly target, which a lot of people don't realize because you only need a Synchronic Seas to make this, so that's possible. 1 Omega, 1 Wind Pegasus. These are the other 2 Punishment targets. 1 Pleiades to make with the Haquero and Conk. Then the rail cannon thingies. I can never pronounce these cards' names, so I'm not even going to try. But basically the reason you play these is Golden Lord and Lord of Heavenly Prisons are level 10s. So you can very easily make these. This one's particularly good as well, because obviously as you get closer to the time, this is a win condition in time. But more importantly, a lot of the time your damage doesn't quite... Obviously it's very difficult to decay in a trap deck, but this lets you do it, because Golden Lord, when it's boosted, is 35. And then regular Lord is 25, so that's 6k, and then this k in main phase 2 for 2k is game. And then same with pumped Golden Lord plus Lord of Heavenly Prison is 65, so again main phase 2 this for game. It just gives you the option basically. And then this is also, like I said, very good for damage, but it's also 4k, so there's another thing you can set off Punishment if it gets banished off Extrav. 1 Imduke, 1 Phoenix, 1 Unicorn, 1 Spider. Imduke and Spider are basically just to put these guys in the grave, so then you can banish them in the end phase. And Phoenix and Unicorn just generically good links. Liner puts all the stuff you'd want in grave and ladders into Unicorn, and then Vampire Sucker is just kind of cool in this deck. Yeah, so that's the main deck. I'll leave it on screen just so you guys can see it or whatever. Then we'll get into his tournament report. So yep, 7th place, 147 players. I think this is I don't know if I said at the start, I don't think I did. Well, I think this is either the largest regional or one of the largest regionals post-COVID in the UK. So it's nice to see that we're getting back towards larger events, because a lot of the events have been capped to between 40-ish and 60-ish for a while because of restrictions and stuff. But we're heading more towards larger events again, which is nice. The 147 players is big for a UK regional, if you guys didn't know. But yeah, anyway, on to the matchups. Round 1 was Drytron, he won 2-1. Round 2 was Virtual World Brave, losing 1-2. Worst matchup, they play through traps well. I do agree with that because of, I think it's Draco Backrider, the equip spell. Yeah, so like, Draco Backrider is basically bouncing all the floodgates, slash like your real traps, without like committing very much to the play. Because obviously they just write into the spell, into the token, and then they just like normal summon out this, and it's just like, it becomes like very uncomfortable for you. But very quickly, it's a really good card against like trap decks. Yeah. Anyway, on to the round 3. Round 3 was Speedroid. UK regionals, am I right? Game wins 2-0. Game 2, I kill him through Lava Golem's effect as he can out of Sphere Mode. That's pretty funny. So for those of you guys who don't know, Lava Golem does 1,000 damage to the control of the card in the standby phase. So obviously you give it to them and then they just take 1,000 per standby phase. But Sphere Mode has an effect where it returns to you, I believe. Yeah. It can't be like attacked, and it can't. And then during then shift control of this card's owner. This card is very weirdly worded. During the end phase of the next turn, it can attack, and your opponent cannot target this card for attacks or by card effects. And then, so it just shifts itself back to the your board in the end phase. I know I horribly worded that. It's such a weirdly worded card. But yeah, so basically this can't be attacked by anything, or be like targeted. So like the Lava Golem just, because Speedroid don't play anything that they can link into with Lava Golem, because it's entirely wind locked as a deck. So they just take 1,000 per turn and they can't clear their own Lava Golem, which is kind of funny. Round 4 was Cyber Dragon, again classic UK regionals. Winning 2-1, had Solemn for Reboot Game 3. Yeah, this is why you need Solemn somewhere in the list, just because of Reboot and stuff like that. The card's brutal against you. Round 5 was Hauk Swordsaw, winning 2-1. Only lost Game 2 from a top deck Harpy's Feather Duster. Yeah, that's unfortunately the problem with trap decks in general. There is so much spell and trap removal that they can have post-side now, that if you're not like drawing your judgment or whatever, it becomes very, very difficult to like keep on top of the game. Game 1's super in your favor most of the time. Especially when you go first. Game 2 starting to get a bit like worrying because of that sort of stuff. Anyway, round 6, Sky Striker 2-1. Easy matchup. Striker can't play through any floodgate. Mills hates Striker so much. He literally hates that deck. But it is somewhat true. Like Tikaboo locks them out. Skill Drain locks them out. Rivalry on the side as well locks them out. It's very difficult for that deck to play through floodgates, like surprisingly, apart from like I know they play their own Tikaboo, but like it's quite easy for them to end up locking themselves, especially when they just have like high assay or something, or like when they've like summoned a Shizuku in the end phase or something like that. Yeah, like unless they draw like their inherent back row removal, is going to struggle against you, because you're applying like so much pressure with the Lord and these, and then like Pleiades as well. Like Pleiades applies a lot of pressure against that deck randomly. Then, because you're not losing the Mystic Mine, it's not like they can mine you because you have access to Conk and then you just kill the mine. So it's like very difficult for them to actually play like a real strategy against you unless they draw like DP Engine. Round 7 was Flunderies. This was a draw. Would have won 2-0, but time happened. Doesn't give any more details than that, but yeah. It's a grindy game state. That deck takes a long time to play a lot of the time, so does this deck. But yeah. Round 8 was Virtual World Brave. Only game 1 winning 2-1. Only game 1 he lost all day. And then game 3, Mills' opponent saw no Virtual World cards, which makes it a lot easier to win. So pretty lucky at the end there, but you gotta get lucky sometimes. So yeah, finishing X1-1, 7th place, bigger regional, 147 players. Then he has the reasoning for the deck here, which I'll just read. The reason behind the deck was it's super easy to play and it plays through Cypher AL. That's very true. This is one of the big appeals of Eldlich at the moment. This format is Cypher is so populous. PK Scythe, or PK Brave ended up winning the regional as well. And I think there was a lot of like Scythe type decks around the top 8 like area. So like Eldlich is a very good pick for that because you're not using your extra basically at all. You win 9% of game 1s because of the traps. Game 2 and game 3 are very difficult. That's true because they are relying on drawing non-engine to beat you. But because of like the floods and stuff. Like they have to draw like the spell trap removal, but generally it needs to be more than like a cosmic because there's 5 back row, right? Generally. So obviously that's like a big thing that I think is like a big appeal of Eldlich is it's very well positioned. Cosmic's very popular, whereas like Lightning Storm isn't. And Cosmic's not really doing enough, I don't think, versus this deck a lot of the time. Deck's hardest matchup is the Clock. You take 10 turns to kill them. Going into time is awkward as you must side all your life pain cards out, which are powerful. That's true, yeah. That's the difficulty of trap decks in general. Is your opponent's never, like, your opponent is all the time just not conceding when you flip a floodgate, even though maybe they should. Because it's kind of hard to, like, apply pressure a lot of the time. But yeah, like, obviously going close to the time, like, Skill Drain and Judgment, you can't have those, which is pretty awkward. But yeah, so, like, then... Yeah, like you said, the only card that plays around all back row removal is Judgment. Yeah. Which obviously is fair enough. A lot of people have like are including like Dark Bribe, and their own like red reboot and stuff like that to kind of like evenly and opposing reboots and stuff. But those cards are, like they're not great because they're not doing what Judgment does. Judgment is just a lot more versatile. Like the scenario I always like to imagine is that you set 5 and it's like I set like you set like Dark Bribe, Tikaboo goes in Rivalry or Skill Drain or something, right? And your opponent just goes like normal summon a monster that has like 2,000 attack points. None of your cards interact with them, and they just keep poking you. And unless you draw Engine, you're losing. But then you can't use any of your own back row because they're like not playing into it basically, and you can't clear your own back row to play new cards. That's always like my fear with cards like that. I know it's a ridiculous fear, but like Judgment sort of mitigates that problem. And goes to match with MVP, sorry, had a ruling come up where the Dark Simorgh would die as it is a wind and a dark. That's a really interesting one, actually. It does die, I believe. We'll have to. You guys can go and double check that on the wiki or something, but I'm pretty sure it does die. Goes to match is just like really, really well positioned, I think, as a card in general. Always. This card's never bad. Best trap in the game is Dogmatic Punishment. You pop the... It's such a statement. I love it. You pop the Brave token when they equip the spell to it, and then end test pops another card. That's true. This card, like I said, was very well positioned against the Brave engine. Really, really strong card. I think at the moment in decks that aren't really relying on their extra deck. Trap Trick usually sets Scarlet, but sometimes Punishment to Dimensional Barrier really underperformed. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, yeah, this is a lot better when you don't have to set it off this, I think. I remember Mill saying, like, he wasn't a fan of this. This card's kind of, like, shifted away. A lot of people aren't playing, like, Sword Soul variants anymore. It's also just fallen out of the format a lot. And so, like, this doesn't do what you want it to do versus PK. It's kind of a blank, apart from Calling Fusion. Obviously, in the mirror and stuff like that, this card's pretty underperformed. A lot of people are switching over to this deck and Flunderies to play around Scythe, so this card's like kind of falling out of favour. Apart from obviously when you play against Sword Sword, then it's great. Path of Axtrav is awkward. If you go second, you have to wait a turn to use it as they'll have in the game on field. That is true. One of the big struggles of trap decks is say they like know you're playing Eldlich, or when you activate Extrav, it can be assumed that you're playing a back row deck. If they have like a Borrow Salvage or something, right? Which is like more common now. A lot of people are playing like the 10-Yi Red Rose deck. So you activate your Extrav, they'll 100% negate it, and then you've got like 4 cards which are just traps, and they know that. So like, then they'll just have another Salvage negate. So it's kind of awkward. Extrav's like a weirdly positioned card. It's very good going first though. Then Line of the Light Charmer is the best card in the extra deck. I believe that. Yeah, I believe you could make this card the most out of all of them. It is a very cool card. There's like some cool stuff you can do with it, like obviously ramping into Unicorn, and then like putting like the trap and like Lord into the grave to bring the Lord back, and then get the trap effect. It's like very strong. Just a nice card in general. This card brings back a lot of random stuff as well. Bringing back like Chi Owls and stuff like that. It's pretty good in the Sword Soul matchup. There's probably a lot more stuff that you can bring back. I just can't think of any. Then he says probable changes to the deck. Part of Axtrav maybe to the side. Yeah, fair enough. Dimensional Barrier to be cut. I think that's reasonable. Like I said, this card's like losing popularity, I think, because the deck it's good against a losing popularity. Mirror Force might be good as people only play around Torrential. That's an interesting observation. Yeah, I could see that. Then he would like a third Lord of the Heavenly Prison in the main or side. Yeah, this card's crazy. This card is beating like Twin Twister, Lightning Storm, and Duster. Which makes it so you're only losing to like the trap ones, which is good. This card's really, really nice in general, I think. I got shoutouts to Sam Heath, Kit, and Chris for lending me cards. Shout out to Tim for the deck profile. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully, be able to get some like IRL deck profiles and stuff in the future. But yeah, so I'll leave the DB download link and stuff like that in the description. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Cheers, guys.